Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Alfia's World, where it's not just my world, but it's your world, and for the most part it's God's world. So stay blessed and don't be stressed. If you're new here, my name is Alfia, and if you're not new here, welcome back. So today guys, I'm going to be telling you guys the reasons why I like gardening in the fall, what I've experienced being a gardener in the fall. I've been gardening for about, this is gonna be my 4th year, and this is how many years I've been gardening in this house? January, so February, March, April, May, June. So this is 5 months. 5 months, and this is my 2nd season. So I started in the spring, and now I'm in the summer. So the garden outside is only like literally on its first, not even year yet, of growing. So I've had a garden in my other house for the fall. I don't think my journey is on YouTube so much, but I did grow a fall garden. I think it was 2 falls I did. And my success was I grew mostly leafy greens, and I tried the brassicas, and I just wasn't 100% successful. Like I said in my other video, I mostly just got leaves, and I got 1 cabbage that actually formed a head. So I have a little bit of notes here because sometimes I can go on a tangent, so I did have notes. So the first thing I can say about winter fall gardening that I enjoy so much is it has little to no pests. So in the summertime, you're out here fighting. Some people got their vacuum cleaner, they got their sprays, they got their this, they got their BT, all kinds of things to combat the pest. In the fall time, the real fall, like in the deep fall, like when it's like 50 degrees, there are no pests. The pests go into hibernation, they go into hiding, they do not come out. Only if, I think if you have probably moles or voles, maybe that may be different, but I've never experienced that. But for me, I've realized that there are no pests because they're not coming out here in the cold. They're like, listen, you can have the cabbage. I don't want it. Another thing is you water less. So you water less because it's cold. The water is not evaporating as much, so therefore you're not watering as much. And I realized that especially if you mulch and you deep water, like I always tell you guys to deep water, my experiences, you're watering like maybe twice a week. Like once you give it a good drink, you don't have to go out there and water, you know, because kind of like I think you're like insulating the roots. Whenever you're just watering and giving it good fertilizer, you kind of insulating the roots and say, hey, just chill out a little bit. You can grow. It's cool weather, so just relax. And it also makes the soil a little warmer, I think, when you put mulch down. And mulching may be it can be straw, it can be, as you see me, I'm trying out cardboard, it can be wood chips, it can be what is it, sawdust people use for anything that is biodegradable. You can create mulch, not any type of rubber, nothing like that has dyes, just organic mulch. Okay. And what else? It says also, I have here, it says when the ground freezes, you don't have to water as much. I just said that. It's a slow growth season, but it has an abundant harvest, which means it may grow slow, like a cabbage is going to grow slow, but you're going to get a real nice cabbage that you can probably divide up with your family and friends, and you can pickle some, you can shred some, you can freeze some, you can make a slaw, you can make so many different things with the 1 cabbage. That was my experience. Weeds, there ain't really not much weeds. No, ain't much weeds at all. The temperatures, so the temperatures ideally for fall season is like 75 to 50. Now will it get lower than 50? Of course, because we're talking about fall and winter, but the ideal temperature that I love, I'm a fall girl, although I was born in the springtime. I love fall. I can go out there with my hoodie, relaxed weather. I ain't gotta be sweating, I ain't gotta have all this hydration, I ain't gotta have something. You always have to wear sunblock, but you just don't have to do too much. You know what I'm saying? It's less stress in the fall time. Okay, what else? So let's talk about the taste in the plants. So normally you plant a lot of leafy greens and a lot of root crops. So you got your collard greens, you got your kale, you got your broccoli, you got your Brussels sprouts, you got your cabbage. All of those is like mostly in the brassica family, like I've always been saying. Also, they have root crops. So you have your carrots, your beets, your rutabaga, your turnip. All those things, they need what type of fertilization? Let me know. I'ma wait. Because you know we learning here, right? Nitrogen and is it potassium? Yes. NPK. So it needs the first two letters, the N and the P, for root stimulation and growth for the flowers. So that is what that's what's really supported nutrient wise. Those are the micronutrients that is needed in the plants in the fall time, opposed to in the winter, in the summertime. It's not really much nitrogen. It's mostly your phosphorus and your potassium, because you're producing fruit and you're still making the roots you're still making sure that the root development is strong. So in the fall, I would say 85-90% of the crops that are grown in the fall are nitrogen. They're nitrogen feeders. Onions, fully nitrogen and potassium. Your alliums, which is your onions, your leeks, your garlic, all of those are nitrogen and potassium. When it comes to your broccoli and stuff, that's nitrogen too, with the potassium. And that was my experience. My experience was I realized that, hey, you know, I don't have to be out here, you know. And then I could, there's a good and a bad, because sometimes there's so much nitrogen that you get the aphids. So that's a whole different situation. But I'm just saying that in the fall time, it's mostly your root vegetables and your leaves. That's mostly what you're harvesting in the fall time. And then let's talk about taste. So the taste of your leaves in the fall and your root crops are very different. They're sweeter. I experience it being sweeter. Like collard greens, way sweeter. The kale, way sweeter, way more tender. Because like I was saying in the other video, once that frost hits the plant, I think in the collard greens it gets like this purple vein in it, or even at the corners around the brim of the leaves of the collard green, it'll get purple. And that's a certain compound, I don't remember what its name is, that it's kind of in a defense, like the starches turn into sugars and it just becomes this tender leafy green, and it is so good. So I experienced collard greens, a lot of collard greens and a lot of kale when I grew a fall garden. Also carrots. I experienced growing carrots, and I'm not the best at growing carrots, but I can grow a carrot. Okay, y'all see it in the garden, I could grow it, but I wasn't the best. Okay, so this year I'm hoping that I can probably start carrots direct sow, because carrots are only direct sowed in the ground, and you plant it like, I want to say you plant it in the probably like in around August, so that it can start, because it also takes a while to germinate. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks to germinate, and then it goes all the way into fall, and you can store your carrots in the ground over winter them, okay, in the springtime, or you could just grab them as you need them and eat them, bring them in the house, cut them up, put them in a stew or something else, and That's it. That's another reason why I actually like the fall, because you don't have to, you know how sometimes in the summer, this is just my experience, you have to harvest everything at one time. You can literally go outside and say, hey, I just need some cabbage right now, and you can see if one is needed, you can cut it off, and that's it. A lot of times when these tomatoes come in, especially if you have a lot of it, and this is why I say growing in succession is important, is because if you have a lot of say you have a whole lot of tomatoes, you gotta can them, freeze them, or do something to it at that moment. If you have carrots, you can go out there and pick 1-2 carrot. If you want to turnip, you could pick 1-2 turnips. You don't have to like be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go out there and pull the whole crop at one time. Take one carrot out. If you sow like one bunch and you want to take one bunch out and leave another bunch, you can. You don't have to say, oh well, they were all sown at the same time, so I have to pull them out at the same time. No you don't. You can take some out and leave the rest in there. It will not rot. It'll just stay in there, kind of like a dormant season for them. So that's another reason why I kind of like growing in the fall. And it's less stress. Like, it's kind of like, you know, you go outside once every couple weeks, you cover it with, you know, maybe a shade cloth or whatever, or a frost cover, and you just relax. You know, you're not going out there every day and saying, oh, I gotta go look. No, it's kind of like a more relaxed season. You know, you're getting cozy, you know, you're drinking your soup, you know, you're having a little casserole, it's holiday season. You're not as anxious, I feel like, as the summertime. As much as I try to be as relaxed with the garden, in the summer it's just a lot of heat and it's a lot of pests, and we don't know what we're gonna get. Although in the winter time it can be a lot, because once it gets too cold, which means like here in Georgia, zone 8, once it goes down to like in the 20s, some of the crops may struggle. But what I've seen is that my collards, they don't struggle. My kale, they don't struggle. They kind of just sit there. Like, okay, we're still gonna grow, but we're gonna go slow. That's what I've experienced. I've experienced snow all over my plants, and then still with mulch and with no cover, and they still pull through. So I'm like, wait, hold up. You just walk away. Now, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying that I realize that a little bit of neglect in the winter time, in the fall season, is way better than the summer. You can't really neglect your garden in the summer. If you do sometimes, you might come back to nothing. You might come back to nothing. When I say that, because the pest may have just taken over. Whereas in the fall time, the weather is just like at a standstill. You know, it's slow. In Georgia, and here in Georgia, it's slow. I think that's why we got short day onions. It's just so slow. So those are my I think those are my reasons why I like to grow in the summer. There's less pests, there's less watering. All you gotta do is mulch. Whenever it freezes, it kind of insulates the roots if you mulch. There's less exposure to frost. It's a slow but abundant harvest. There's hardly any weeds. The temperatures of growing is like 75 to 50, which is ideal, which I enjoy to go outside. And the taste of the food is better because of the frost, because it converts the starches to sugars. Yeah, and it gives you a chance to like kind of relax until it's harvest time. So that is I say my because there's probably so many other reasons as to why people would love to garden in the fall, but that is my reasoning of why. I kind of, not to say I don't enjoy gardening in the spring and summer. I enjoy the spring until the weather starts to get really hot, but the summertime as a gardener, I mean, some people that are only summer gardeners, summer season gardeners, they may get discouraged and say, oh, I'm not gardening, it's too much. We have to do pests, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to water, da da da. And I'm here to tell you, if you're feeling overwhelmed because of your summer garden, start your seeds for fall. Start your seeds for fall and watch how it changes. Watch how laid back it is once you put things in place. Once you mulch, once you deep water, once you probably have a cover for it. And I'm not saying no spontaneous cover, just something to cover it. Because if you watch from my last journey from when I was here and I was trying to protect it, I didn't have nothing fancy. I just put you can even put just a sheet over it with like a little two little stakes and put it over it just to protect it so that it won't die. And try to get like your kale, it'll tolerate down to maybe, I think about 6 to 10 degrees. Yeah, it can tolerate some frost. The collard greens, it can tolerate some frost. So if you like those things, plant them. Say, hey, I'm just going to do collard greens, or I'm just going to do spinach. They will do well in the frost. And spinach, I think, only does well when it's cold. It does not do well in the heat. As you can see, I think in my videos, I showed you that when it bolted, when it goes to like above 75, it bolts. If you don't have the bolt resistant variety. So that is my opinion or my journey of gardening and why I enjoy fall. It's just way more laid back. Way more laid back. I mean, once you put once you put the seedlings in the ground, it's kind of like, all right, I'll see you back in a week. That's what it's like. And then once it starts growing, after the summer is kind of like fading out, so it'll go out in the summer and it'll grow. Then once it starts getting cooler, it'll grow even more because it likes the cool season. And then that's why I put 2 weeks on my plants, because if you put it out in the heat, like in September, where it's kind of adjusting from the blazing August to September, it's gonna have a little bit of struggle, but every plant has a little bit of struggle. And then once it goes out, it's gonna say, oh, this is good weather, and it's gonna grow. And then by the time it says, oh, it's too hot, it's gonna get cooler. It's gonna drop. So that's why I love fall. And like I said, I just love fall. Genuinely love fall. When I used to live in New York, sweater weather was my best season. Throw on your hoodie, throw on your sweater, not like 4 or 5 hoodies, just one, right? And I love that season. I love when I just gotta put on one sweater, put on my shoes, and just relax. You know what I'm saying? 75, 65, 68, you know, those are my weathers. This 91, 95, 98, I can't do it. No, I'm gonna go underneath the soil and say, listen, we finna have a heat wave. All my microorganisms, all my pests, I'm gonna need y'all to chill out a little bit, okay? I'm gonna need y'all to just hibernate underneath the soil and not bother my plants, okay? I'll be back in a week. That's all I need. I need y'all to act like fall time. Just sit. But they do the opposite. They come out like, ooh. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I got. So if you are frustrated at any cost, if you feel like, I can't do gardening, this is not for me, just plant a kale seed, plant spinach, and plant a flower, and see what happens. And tell me if I wasn't right. But we're gonna go through the season together, guys. We're gonna go through it together. I'm gonna try to do step by step, day by day. I'm gonna try. And let me know in the comment section if you have started a garden, if you haven't started a garden. Because Because it just starts with a seed. Okay? It just starts with a seed. It starts with dedication. It starts with prayer. That's my piece. It starts with prayer, patience, persevere, and progress. Progress is usually a part of the harvest, right? So continue to sow your seeds, even in your life. Continue to sow your seeds behind closed doors, within your prayers, because the harvest is coming. And even if it doesn't come, it might skip you and go to your kids. Okay, guys? It might skip you and go to a family member. And this is why we should always live as a community, not just the individual, because that's what God wanted. He wanted community. That's why he had disciples, because he couldn't do it by himself. He couldn't do it alone. So he picked the ones that were not perfect. He picked the ones that people probably thought is not even worthy. He picked the ones. He picked the ones. He picked the great ones that nobody would think would be great, that would spread his word. Yeah. And he didn't judge. So the garden is no judgment zone, okay? Because we're always popping seeds in the ground and we're always looking to do better. We're not here to mock each other. And that's why I kind of love the gardening community. Although I'm not on your gardening channel, I love the gardening community because we give each other so much grace, but we put in the work. Okay? 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 You think it's easy going outside, tilling up soil? You think it's easy? It's not easy. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. And I gotta stay soft because I'm a wife. You know, all these things. But I still go outside and tussle with this soil. All these microorganisms. I gotta get them in line. Make sure everybody does this and does that. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay? So so we're coming into, I know it's July and it's like I forget it's still summer. I know. But by the time you quit, it's gonna be fall. Okay? So this is gonna be our season of a little bit more calmness, less chaos. Okay? So don't forget our core peace. Don't forget to pray, be patient, persevere, and you'll surely progress. And don't forget to be kind. If you guys have any inputs on why you love fall gardening besides the points that I brought up, please don't hesitate to put it in the comment section, because I noticed y'all not commenting. I mean, there's few y'all, but y'all comment. Don't worry, I won't hurt you now. I won't hurt you. I ain't gonna come at you with a vengeance. I'm not, I promise. So comment down below. And don't forget to put on your notification bell. So right next to the subscribe button, there's a bell. Press that bell and press all. So every time I go live or every time I upload a video, you'll be notified and you won't be out the loop. All right, guys? So I'll see you later. Stay blessed. Bye.